Yes, queens.
Some days I'm not myself. There's no one I can turn to.
Hey my queens, how you doing? So Natasha Quista with you. I am here this evening to do my Q&As for my Q&A Tuesdays. So I already started my makeup because if you watch my previous videos that I'm probably going to have the link even on one of these sides here. I'll have you the link, and my very first episode you will see why I decided to start my Q&A video with my eyebrows and my eyeshadow base already done, because that's something I struggled on. And over the week I decided to try and learn how to get my eyebrows done quickly. Wow, look, this is as good as it's gonna get. And I feel as the more I do my videos, the better my eyebrows are gonna get when I do this. And that's that, so I'm going to do my Q&As on domestic violence. I post on my Instagram, which you will see pop up shortly, as well as my Facebook. So you can ask me questions. All the questions will be anonymous. I will not be saying anybody's name because they can be personal questions. I'm going to do 4 questions as well as just explain different things, different methods that can help somebody who could possibly be going through domestic violence. And if you're willing to just ask the questions, I'm going to try and answer them the best that I can, even from my personal experience. So let's get started. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my eyeshadow. I just whipped this up before I started this video, so we will see how it turns out. To be honest, I haven't tested it yet. We will see how it looks. Okay, so I have up a nice purple and a pinkish red color that I have my last video. You probably will not see it yet because I haven't put out that episode, so you'll see the last colors that I made once I finish the Friday story time. So I post every Friday episodes from a story that I'm telling. Once I get comments and everything, my subscribers, I will tell my story. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't mind just telling different stories here and there, but then when it comes to the full story, I have plenty. I've been in a relationship with abuse for 8 years, so I have a grocery list of stories to tell, and hopefully my stories will definitely help somebody get through what they are dealing with domestic abuse and be free. Because once you're free, you are able to gain your personality back. You're not depressed. You can just be the true person that you are meant to be. Is it easy? No. And nobody can tell you any different, especially somebody who hasn't been in the situation of being abused by somebody or being in love with somebody that abuses you, because that's a whole different situation. But on that note, I'm going to get started. So my first question that I was asked, which had me thinking a lot, was what can be done to manage domestic abuse throughout lockdown? Personally, the country that I am in, we are not on lockdown. We just have a curfew. So I wasn't aware that, certain places, they still were under lockdown. So, but I do know that when my country, which is Bermuda, was under lockdown, the domestic violence rate went skyrocket because a lot of people were stuck with their significant other. I would like to say, it's difficult to answer this question because I'm thankful that I left and I became free from the person who I was with at the time, who was very abusive, because I don't think I would have been able to survive that mentally. I was already at a breaking point where I really wanted to go. but I just couldn't leave because I thought I was doing the right thing for my children, and that's just me being honest. That's the main reason why I stayed. It's because I really thought I was just doing the right thing for my children. And my third question would be easy to explain when it comes to the children. But how to answer that question is, if you have a domestic abuse hotline, you call your hotline and you see what options that you have, and see, if you could work out something, if it's to the point that you feel like you have to leave. Now, if you know that you're going to be in a situation where you're going to be stuck with somebody who's very abusive with you, you sit down and you talk to them and you let them know, okay, well, obviously we're going to be stuck here. Unfortunately, we're in a pandemic right now where emotions fluctuate, is stress, depression, frustration. So, some people like to take out their anger to the people who are closest to them. So I personally would sit down and have a conversation, and if that doesn't work, then go to plan B, which is definitely call your domestic abuse resource center and see what you can do. And if it comes to the point where you need help right away, you call 911 straight up. But try and see if you could work out basic, boundaries in the house. Like if you have a living room and a bedroom, somebody sleep in the living room, somebody sleep in the bedroom, and you distance yourself as much as possible so you don't have to be around that person as much. You still have space away from the person if you just divide yourself within the house. Now, like I said, if it gets worse and that doesn't work, definitely try your domestic abuse resource center, and if that doesn't work, call 911 and work that out the best way that you can. Now, that's as best as I can answer that question, because like I said, I'm thankful that I was able to break free before this pandemic came, because only Lord knows the mental that I would be if I had to be stuck with that person for days. And I just do feel sorry for the people who actually have to be stuck, and I could just imagine the frustration and the just wanting to get away. Now, my next question that I was asked was, my coworker's attitude has changed and has become very distant. Could she be getting abused by her new boyfriend? Okay, like I said, this is very difficult because right now this is a time where everybody is stressful. We don't know what is on people's minds. Now, the question I really wanted to ask them back was, but I said I will not. I don't want it to be a back and forth communication. I just want the questions to be asked and I answer. Now, is this person normally actively talking to you? Do you, have a great relationship with this coworker? And, if you do, then don't be afraid to ask questions. Now, like I said, there are a lot of things going on. It's a pandemic. It could be, a family issue, a death. Like you can't assume. Now, when you start seeing things like, this is the time where the weather is cold for certain. I don't know where you stay, but I'm pretty sure majority all over the world right now is cold. So it's not like you can see the obvious things of it being hot and they're wearing a long sleeve turtleneck when it's hot and it's a summer day, because that's one sign of abuse. Or if you just see them wearing heavy makeup and that they're not a makeup person, that's another sign of them probably just trying to cover up a bruise or anything. But what I would say is, one day when you get to work, just say, hey sis, how you doing? I see you a little distant. I'm just worried about you, and that could be a way, just start a conversation just to say that you care. And if they don't want, if she's not ready to talk to you, don't push it. Don't be blunt about it and ask questions, because that will quickly get somebody to shut down instead of slowly warming up to tell you what's going on. Now, it will not happen right away, but From experience, at one point I just couldn't hold it in any longer. I had to tell somebody. I needed to seek for help. I'm just thankful for the friends that I had that didn't give up on me. You know, you have people out there who are just so tired of seeing their friend go through it that they stop being friends with them instead of just sticking beside them to really help them get through, to just really help get this is looking very horrible, but to help them get through what they're going through. Love is a very weird thing, and that's the only thing I can say. Love is very weird when it comes to a man, you know. And I would say just take the time to listen. If she does start to talk, definitely take the time to listen. Do not be judgmental. If she does open up to you, don't be judgmental, and do not lecture, because that will definitely put up a guard and make her very defensive and probably shut back down. First thing I would just say is always ask if you are willing to be that person. Always ask, where is your help needed? Always ask, because it's going to be a time where she says, you know what, I'm ready, I just need to get out. And at that point, hopefully, you know, you could just come up with a whole bunch of resources to be able to provide for her so she can get out. But it's a new boyfriend. Some people like to just be secretive. Some people, you know, the thing is, it's just things that you have to look for. I don't really know too much about the situation, so I can't really answer. But I could just tell you things to look out for. If she's always one that used to go out with you and have drinks after work, and it all just went to a halt, it's a possibility he could be that person to say, no, you're not going out to have a drink. Or she's just cherishing the fact that she has a new boyfriend and just wants to spend time with him. You know, it happens. It does happen. But, you know, just test it out. I'm not sure what rules and regulations are, because I know a lot the bars where I live are shut down, so I'm not sure exactly where it is out in the world. These are just questions that have been asked to me on Instagram of people started following on a whole bunch of domestic violence pages over Instagram. So keep being that friend that, you know, the concerned friend for even asking the question. I can see is a concern, so you keep showing the concern. And it could be nothing. It really just could be nothing, and she's just enjoying her new boyfriend and just wants time alone, you know, or just time. And I don't know why she'd be distant about it, but I guess if it's a certain concern and she's not that type of person to be distant and quiet or whatever, then yeah, I advise you to try and investigate, but do not force it. Let her do it on her own time. And that's as easy as I can say. You know, wait till she says that she's ready and she needs help, or, you know, try, if you feel like it is a hinder, to see if you could try and get her out of it before it's too late, like 8 years too late. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say on that situation. Just be a true friend and observe from a distance. You know, sometimes just sitting back and watching and observing, you learn way more than trying to be in the mix and be that person to be, you know, all into what's going on. So just sit back and observe from a distance. Now, my next question. Okay, so I had to start all over again. Like I said, if you get my previous videos, you will see that I am a beginner at this. So I messed up on the original colors that I did, and I didn't want to start all over with doing what I already had done. So I said, you know what? Let me just do a natural look. So I decided to just take, this is not my colors. This is from a palette that I had, and I was like, you know what, let me just use my natural colors. And I'm like, hey, like, this is a look. I don't know why I don't use these colors more often, because I do like to wear eyeshadow, but I'll just put like a gold shimmery color on and go. So to be continued. Does domestic violence affect children at home? So a mother of two, which I am. At the time, I thought that it was okay and that it was fine. I never physically fought in front of my children, but we argued a lot. And I thought it was okay. Like, I thought it was fine. I thought, if I stick it through and just be there for my children, I never really had a father growing up. So I was like, you know what, let me just be there for my kids. I'll be there around a male. But then as time went on and I was getting tired and mentally drained from just being in the relationship, I just realized, like, this is not, I have a son and this is not what I would want him to be doing with his future girlfriend or, wife. So, it's just like, okay, this is the type of male figure that I have around him, so that's something that you have to think. And then I have a daughter as well, and I was like, this is not the type of relationship I want my daughter to think that is okay to be in. Please forgive me. I still don't I still don't know what I'm doing when it comes to this. I just play around with it. It all ends up working out anyway. But yeah, this is the relationship that I wouldn't want my daughter to be in. So why am I dealing with it? Why am I putting up with it? So yes, it does affect the children, because when I did break free, my daughter's teacher come up to me and was like, oh, so what did you do with your children over the summertime? And I'm her thinking like, okay, well, what happened now? Apparently, my daughter was more focused in school, and unfortunately my son took it a little hard because it was his daddy that I separated from. So he's used to seeing me with his daddy and etc. So he, it depends, it's a hit or miss, because they're so used to being around their daddy, and for some reason it's like the daddy can't do no wrong, and which is understandable. They don't, like I said, they wasn't around it to see exactly what I was going through physically. They just heard the arguments. One day I would share that story with you, and why I decided to break free and enough was enough, and what really made me leave and give me the energy and strength to leave, because I had wanted to leave a long time ago, but like I said, for the kids' sake, I thought it was okay or right basically to stay in the relationship. But it does affect the kids. It can be a hit or a miss. The child might just feel a lot at ease and not, believe it or not, even though they seem like they're not worried about you, they are. Because at one point, if they was to see me crying or stuff like that, they would try and feel like they had to comfort me, and that's hard to deal with, having your child try and comfort you. And I tried not to cry or do anything in front of them, but it's life. We're human. They'll walk in my room and see me crying, etc., etc. So it's just like, we're human, and things do happen where your children do see. And as much as you think that they don't, they do. And as much as you think as much as you think that they don't hear, they do. So it's just like, yes, children are affected, and it does also hinder their child development. Me personally, did I want to get my children, have them talk to somebody? Yes and no. Yes, because I just felt like they needed somebody to talk to, and if it wasn't me that they didn't want to express their feelings to, maybe they can open up to somebody else. And no, because I don't trust people when it comes to my children. I don't want nobody talking to them and trying to have them talk about something totally different that is not even about the subject that I'm sending them there for, and take something and turn it into something totally different. Sorry, I don't trust people like that. So I said what I did was, when everything settled down and my son started acting right again, he started basically not acting out in school, being his, I wouldn't say 100% self, but enough for me to feel comfortable to talk to him about the situation. I told them they could talk to me. You sit your child down and you let them know, like, in this world, you're the parent and there's nobody else that's gonna have their back better than you. And if it's anything that they want to talk to you about, don't ever feel, even if they feel they're gonna get in trouble, don't ever be afraid to talk. And I've told my children that plenty of times. Don't ever feel afraid to talk to me, because more than anybody in this world, I will have your back more than anybody in this world. And you know, I kept stressing that to my children, and you know, eventually they feel comfortable talking to me. They talk to me about the problems, how they felt. You know, I felt blessed, to be honest, because not many people get that chance to actually have the children open up to them like how I was able to have mine. And I really am blessed and happy that that worked out for me the way it did. But yes, that to answer that question, children are affected, and you know, just be careful what you say and do around your children, because you do not want them lashing out. And when it comes to the school, and you know, at one point in my situation end up, you know, going to around the school where I was being harassed around the school. And at that point I was more scared of somebody calling social services on me for my children rather than me getting physically abused at that time. Unfortunately, it happened that way, but because I had shared with the teachers and they already knew what was going on, obviously, you know, they wasn't going to call social services or anything because I wanted to break free. Now, I can understand if that was happening and I was still in the relationship, then maybe that would have thrown a red flag to say, okay, well, maybe we need to send somebody around her house to see exactly what's going on. But it didn't happen. But yeah, like I said, children are affected, and this is a crucial time in a child's life where, you know, the adolescence is where they learn everything. They suck in everything, and you don't want them you don't want them thinking that, I don't like this brush. You don't want them thinking that what's going on is okay at all. You do not want that. Especially if you have a girl, you don't want that. And even more so if you have a boy, it's not okay to treat a woman any form of way. And it's not okay to have a woman treat you any form of way. I had to let my son know the exact same thing because, you know, I know that he's got it in his trait. Apparently it's a genetic thing. Come to find out after my situation that his daddy was abusive too, apparently. But hey, now I'm going to be going on to my last question, which is actually really detailed, and I'm surprised that it's as detailed as it is. Now I'm going to go off camera and do my lipstick, and then I'm gonna come back on and do my last questions and try and do my lashes at the same time. Okay, so I decided to do a lip gloss, being that I was like, I'm got a natural look, let me just put a brown liner on and a lip gloss. This is my lip gloss that I've made. It's a nice brown, a golden brown with a menthol sensation, so you can wear it in the winter time and have a nice cooling sensation on your lips. Now back to my fourth and final question. My boyfriend is very secretive with his phone. I asked to look to see why he's so secretive, and it turned into an argument and he got physical. Now, from experience, majority of the time, like in the beginning of the relationship, he was like continuously in his phone, to where even my mother, who wasn't even like a phone person, like picked it up. My brother picked it up and was like, he's in his phone way too much. Like he lived in his phone. Now in my mind, it was just like, okay, maybe he's on Facebook, but even this is 2011. Facebook weren't even really, I guess it wasn't really popping like how it is now. So it's just, I was oblivious. I was so freaking oblivious to it. Well, majority of the time, I hate to put it this way, but it's probably cheating on you. Somebody else has his attention. Like if it's, especially if it's secretive about it, if he, you know, doesn't feel comfortable being on his phone around you, that means he's probably talking to somebody else. And Most cases, if it's gotten to a point where it's physical, he's trying to scare you away from the situation. From experience, that's how he was able to get away with a lot of things, by scaring me out of the situation. It's been times that I've even caught him dead in his tracks of cheating, and he would try to intimidate me by getting physical, and I used to just leave it alone. Would I forget about it? No, but I definitely left it alone, just so that I didn't get it on. Like, it's sad, but that's the way of getting away with it. It's just they will try to intimidate you with fighting you, just so you can be more focused on not getting hit rather than what the argument and everything started over. So after a while I got hipped. It's either I would figure out what the password is. It was to the point that he used to tell me if I ever became a detective, is to act like whatever case that I'm working on, to act like I'm in the relationship, because I was able to break into anything, And at one point I was like, why, if I'm in a relationship, do I have to break into something just to gain information about somebody that's supposed to be with me? So most likely he is definitely pursuing or entertaining, or somebody else is entertaining him. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my I really like this. I think I'm gonna use this more often. I really do like this. Try and get my lashes on. I don't want to put them on all the way because I'm gonna be taking them off. So as soon as I'm finished, I'm gonna take these things off. From a distance, they don't look bad, so I'm gonna stay distant. Up close, they look ratchet. My Q&A is coming to an end, but hopefully, as time goes on, more people will ask more questions. I have more questions than this, but I just wanted to do 4 because I don't want to make these videos long. I actually really am digging this natural look. I like it. Oh my god! Wow! Oh wait, the last video I forgot to do this, so let's see. A little finishing, fixing, whatever the heck you want to call it. I don't know the terms and terminologies and whatever. So it's the setting spray. Yes, that's what it's called. That's what it's called, setting spray. So this is the end of my Q&A, and for my last question is, don't settle for less. Like, if somebody can't respect you enough to, I don't want to say be all up in his business, because at the same time, a man or a woman does need a form of privacy somewhere. But when it comes to the point where you feel like you're being left out on everything that has to do with his phone, and you're not even allowed to even have the password, and you're supposed to be in a relationship, now that's deep. So hopefully you can come to the bottom of the question, and hopefully you'll be able to investigate yourself. Now, I'm not saying go in there and be complete detective and try and hack into his phone or anything. Don't do that. But what happens in the dark always comes out in the light, so eventually it will come out. When it comes to a man, they get too comfortable, and when he gets too comfortable, you will definitely find your answer. But on that note, I want to thank you for watching. If you made it this far, like and subscribe and share. So please don't forget, hit the notification button just so you can know and be notified when all my new videos come as well. Thank you very much, my queens, and have a wonderful day.
Some days I'm not myself. There's no one I can turn to.